China's economy has grown super fast. Over the past few decades, it has transformed at an unprecedented pace, leaving many in awe. It went from being pretty quiet to a major world power. The shift from a primarily agrarian society to an industrial and technological powerhouse is nothing short of remarkable. Now it's the second biggest economy, right behind the United States. This rapid ascent has positioned China as a key player on the global stage. This huge change has shaken things up around the world. Global markets, international relations, and economic policies have all felt the impact of China's rise. It makes us wonder what will happen next with China and how it will affect everyone else. The future holds many questions and possibilities. It's really important to understand how big and powerful China's economy is, especially if you're interested in how the world's money works. Knowing this can help us prepare for future changes. In this video, we'll look closely at China's economy, how it's doing now, the problems it faces, and what might happen in the future. We'll explore the factors driving its growth and the challenges it must overcome. We'll also talk about how China's economy affects the whole world, especially India. The interconnectedness of global economies means that changes in China can ripple across the globe. China's journey from a quiet country to an economic giant is amazing. This transformation is a testament to its strategic planning and relentless pursuit of growth. It happened because of big changes in its economy and joining the world market. Opening up to international trade and investment has been crucial. Things like lots of workers who are getting better at their jobs, and a focus on education and skill development. Huge projects like roads and bridges, which have improved connectivity and efficiency, and always trying to improve technology, have helped China grow so much. Innovation and research are at the heart of its economic strategy. China is now the biggest maker of stuff in the world, producing a vast array of goods for global consumption. It sells a lot to other countries, making it a crucial part of the global supply chain, and it's a big player in world trade. Its influence on international markets is undeniable. Its new technologies, especially in things like artificial intelligence and green energy, are changing industries everywhere. These advancements are setting new standards and driving global innovation. So, how is China's economy doing this year? Even with problems at home and around the world, it's still doing pretty well. China's leaders want the economy to grow by 5% this year. That's a big goal, but they know things are tough. In the first 9 months of 2024, China's economy grew by 4.8%, which is good, but a little slower than they hoped. The last 3 months of those 9 were even slower, only 4.6%. But they still think they can hit that 5% goal for the whole year, if the government's plans to help the economy work, and if things around the world don't get too messy. If we look at the numbers for 2024, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Making things is still going strong, up 5.4% from last year. That means China's factories, a really important part of its economy, are still doing well. Even though China's economy is strong, it has some weak spots that are becoming more apparent as time goes on. There are several problems that could potentially slow it down in the future if not addressed properly. Fixing these problems is super important if China wants to keep its amazing economic run going and maintain its position on the global stage. One big problem is that people in China aren't buying as much stuff as they used to. They used to spend a lot, which helped the economy grow rapidly, but now they're being more careful with their money. This cautious behavior is because things are uncertain around the world, and they're worried about China's economy too. Another significant problem is the housing market, which has seen better days. It used to be booming, but now there are too many houses and apartments, and prices are falling, creating a surplus. This is worrying because the housing market was a big part of China's growth, and problems there could affect other parts of the economy, leading to a ripple effect. On top of all this, China has some long-term problems that have been around for a while and are not easy to fix. They have a lot of debt, especially local governments and big companies owned by the government, which adds to the financial strain. This is risky for the whole financial system and could lead to bigger issues if not managed well. Also, China's population is getting older because of the one-child policy they had for a long time, which has long-term implications. This means fewer workers and more pressure on things like retirement plans and healthcare, which could become a significant burden in the future. What will happen to China's economy in the future? This is a question that many economists, policymakers, and business leaders are trying to answer. It all depends on whether they can fix these problems and make some big changes. The challenges are significant, but so are the opportunities. The World Bank thinks China's economy will grow by 4.9% this year, and then slow down a bit to 4.5% next year. This forecast highlights the need for strategic planning. This means China needs to do something to keep things growing and fix those weak spots. Addressing these issues is crucial for sustainable development. The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, thinks it will be even slower, maybe only 3.3% by 2029. This slower growth rate is a cause for concern. This shows how important it is to fix those long-term problems that could really hurt China's economy. Long-term stability requires immediate action. To get the economy growing again and keep it strong, China needs to make some big changes. These reforms are essential for future prosperity. They need to get people spending more, which means boosting consumer confidence and disposable income. Deal with all that debt which has been piling up and could become a major issue if not managed properly, and figure out what to do about the aging population. This demographic shift poses both challenges and opportunities. To get people spending, they need to help families earn more money, which involves creating better job opportunities and fair wages, make sure everyone has basic things like healthcare, which is fundamental for a productive workforce, and make sure wealth is shared more fairly. Reducing income inequality can lead to a more stable society. To fix the debt problem, they need to be careful about how the government spends money, ensuring that investments are made in areas that will yield long-term benefits. Make sure banks are following the rules, which is crucial for financial stability, and make sure big companies are being run well. Good corporate governance can drive economic growth, and to deal with the aging population, they need to change the retirement system, making it more sustainable for the future, encourage families to have more children, which can help balance the demographic scales, and find new ways to take care of older people. Innovative solutions in elder care can improve quality of life and reduce economic strain. China's big economic rise has affected the whole world, changing how countries interact and do business. Its influence is really strong in Asia, where it's become super powerful. For India, China's neighbor and another big growing economy, China's economy is a really big deal. The two countries have a complicated relationship. They work together sometimes, but they also compete. China's economy affects India in many ways. China is a huge market for things India makes and sells. They trade a lot with each other, and China is one of India's biggest trading partners. But there are problems too. India buys a lot more from China than it sells to China, which isn't good for India. There are also worries about China selling things too cheaply and not playing fair in trade. Plus, China is investing a lot in building roads, ports, and other things in countries near India, which makes India nervous. Even with these problems, both countries know they need to work together more. China and India are the two countries with the most people and the fastest growing big economies, so they both want Asia to be stable and successful. If China and India work together more on the economy, it would be good for both of them. They could team up on big projects like building things, developing technology, and using green energy. They could also have more people visit each other's countries, do more tourism, and share their cultures, which would help them understand each other better. The future of China and India's economic relationship depends on fixing their problems and working together fairly. Talking to each other, working through disagreements, and finding things they agree on will be really important. China's economy creates both good and bad things for India. The fact that China's economy is slowing down gives India a chance to get businesses to invest in India instead, and become a big place for making things. But India needs to fix its own problems to really take advantage of this. India needs better roads, ports, and other infrastructure. It needs to make it easier to start and run businesses, and it needs to encourage new ideas and people starting their own companies. India also has to be smart about how it deals with China's growing power. As China gets stronger economically and militarily, India needs to build up its own defenses and work closely with friendly countries to stay safe and protect its interests. China's economic rise has been a huge change in the 21st century. You can see its effects everywhere, from factories in Southeast Asia to big companies in the US. China has its own problems, but it's so big and still growing that its economy will continue to be really important for the whole world. For India, it's super important to understand what's happening with China's economy and be ready for it. By looking ahead, taking advantage of good opportunities and dealing with challenges, India can keep growing and be successful in a world where China's economy plays a big role.